This presentation is about leveraging technology to maximize your sales conversion. So here we're talking about a CRM-centric sales process. And the topics today, the process. So the process starts with lead capture. We go on to qualify those leads, and then track the lead through a pipeline. Then the most important part of the presentation in a way is activities, is those activities you carry out to actually follow up and ensure that you get a close on the deal. And then measurement of your results, so through reports and dashboards. And the main components of the solution I put together are the CRM, the one source of truth, workflow automation, so automating a lot of those common workflow processes you might have in sales, things that you're probably doing manually at the moment. And then integration, pulling together all the pieces in your business so that everything works seamlessly together. So your email and your appointment booking systems are all integrated with the CRM. Reports and dashboards, as I said. And then here's a bonus, which is for those who are delivering services, particularly, is having a scorecard as a way to bring in qualified leads into your business. All right, so this first section is about capture, which is lead management in your CRM. So one of the most important things is if you're going out to networking, or if you've got a website which is capturing leads via a web form, or you've got lots of different avenues for capturing leads or potential opportunities into your business, is actually having a structured way in which to capture them. So within the CRM, and I use Pipedrive specifically, but within the CRM, you need a leads inbox or a place for you to place those leads, and somewhere where it's very easy to do. So one of the things I use is an app called Contacts Plus, which integrates with Pipedrive for the CRM. So when I go to networking, I'll receive a business card, and I take that business card and I'll scan the business card in via my phone, and it automatically adds a new lead into the CRM. So every lead you get, either you can do it yourself or you can pass this on to a VA, but you make sure that lead will end up in your CRM. That's really where the central place that you would store and manage your leads. Now, if you've got different channels, for example, you've got a website, you've got a landing page, you've got BNR, you've got networking, you've got outcomes group, all these different sources of leads, it's very important that you have a way of tagging and categorizing those leads so that you can tell what is my most effective source of leads, which ones convert best, where do I go to get the most leads. So in the CRM, you can then run reports on the types of leads that you've got. You can see actually those BNI leads converted really well. The outcomes leads converted even better. But all the stuff I'm doing on my website obviously is not working as well as I thought it would. So the first place we go is we capture those leads, we manage them, we make sure we've tagged them and we've categorized the leads correctly. And then the next stage is to qualify. So that's actually taking a lead and converting a lead into a business opportunity. But if you could just type into the chat box, what are the top 2 or 3 criteria for you that actually the way you qualify a lead? So qualification means that you take someone who's interested in working with you and actually that they're not a tire kicker, they're a real deal. So if we just take 60 seconds to type in the chat box. And right now I can't see the chat box, but I'm guessing that some of these opportunities, these answers are related to how likely, how timely the lead is to turn into a deal, if they've got the budget, if they're a key decision maker, if there's someone who you've done business with before, for example, they will automatically be qualified. They may well be qualified. It depends upon the type of deal. So qualification is a really important stage. And that's where a scorecard is extremely important. So something like a scorecard where you can actually assess upfront the type of problems they have and look to see if there's actually a fit with your particular business, with the services you're offering. So when you run a scorecard, they'll fill in a number of questions which will relate to their current business and the current state of their business. And from that scorecard, you can then see, okay, they're actually a really good candidate. I can help them, or I can refer them elsewhere. So qualification is a key step, because what we don't want to be doing is spending time working with opportunities that aren't really opportunities, or those who don't have the budget for us, or those who may well turn it into a deal in 5 years' time. So once you've got these qualified leads, you need to be able to track them. So you need to be able to actually follow them through a set process that you have. So that's called a pipeline in sales, and you might have different pipelines for different types of, for example, for tenders, you could have a pipeline. You could also have a pipeline for just direct sales or a pipeline for retail or commercial. So each pipeline relates to the type of selling that you're doing. But typically, like in my business, for example, I've got just one main pipeline and the stages in the pipeline. So I'll just show you here in Pipedrive. This is the typical type of pipeline here for deals. You've got your qualified, you've got your contact made, and you schedule a demo, and then you make a proposal. After proposal. So this is, for example, in Pipedrive, you've got a pipeline view here. So you can actually see as you've got a deal, you can see the various stages that the actual deal will move through. And it's extremely important, extremely useful from a point of view of reporting and optimizing your sales process, that we're aware of where deals are in the pipeline. So sometimes customers will actually use this pipeline to deal with leads as well. And you can do that. For example, if you've got only a small number of leads coming into the business, you can actually have those leads go straight into your pipeline. But typically, for example, in Pipedrive, you have a leads inbox, a place where you'll sort and manage those leads. And then once you've qualified the leads, you then place them onto a pipeline. And in Pipedrive here, for example, you drag and drop, so you just drag the deal from one stage to another. And then in Pipedrive, it's reporting the day at which there's a transition between different stages. You can record, of course, the value of your deal, the probability of your deal closing. And then when the deal is eventually won, it is then removed from the pipeline. So a pipeline gives you a really nice visual view of where you're at. On this particular pipeline, you'll see the green, the red, and these different symbols. They actually represent the next part I'm going to talk about, which is the activities. So I believe in activity-based selling, and a lot of people do, which is that activities lead to sales. So it's the things that you do on a daily basis that lead to sales. So it's really important to record everything that you do in the CRM. And often that's quite difficult to do without integrating your CRM. So you should have your CRM integrated with your email, integrated with your calendar. You should have a mobile app that you use on the road, notes that you can scan in, just basically using the CRM as a single source of truth, as a place where you place all the information about the things that you do and the activities you carry. Often a deal doesn't really become a deal until you've made a lot of contact with a customer, you've emailed them, you've phoned them, you've carried out daily follow-up activities, and that will then give you a chance to actually win a deal. The more times you contact a customer, obviously not spamming them or overdoing it, but the more times you contact a prospect, the more likely you are to close the deal. Setting up daily activity reminders is very powerful as well, that you'll have in your inbox an email that arrives at 7 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock, depending upon what time you want, which will show you what do we have to do today. So which phone calls do we have to make? Which appointments do we have? Which emails do we have to send? So we've got a daily routine, maybe an hour in the morning between 8 and 9 or 9 and 10, just at the very start of the day, where you're actually going to pick up that phone and make a few phone calls. And if that becomes part of your daily routine, you'll see a very impressive, probably, increase in conversion at the end of the day, because most business people do not follow up. And there are lots of reasons why people don't follow up, but not having the right systems in place is one of the reasons. We're just simply too busy. And having a CRM with the appropriate automations and the appropriate reminders in place will allow you to be made aware of what you have to do, that you actually have to pick up the phone and call Bob or June and make that phone call and push things forward. So activities are central to the CRM. So when you log into the CRM, one of the first things you can see is your activities dashboard, which is a snapshot of what do we have to do this week. And you can prioritize, you can categorize and tag, so you can see just those things like that. You can focus on just your warmest leads or just your highest score leads. So you're actually talking to people that really are going to give you business. And then the final, and probably in many respects, one of the most important parts is to measure, is actually to report on those sales KPIs. So what do we measure? By default in the CRM of, for example, Pipedrive, we're measuring activities. So we're measuring on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis. How many emails have we sent out? How many phone calls have we made? How many leads have we qualified? So we're actually looking at some of those activities. We're also looking at the deals that we have. Now, what's the actual overall value of the deals that we have? What are the value of the deals that we've closed in the last month? How many deals are stuck at different stages in the pipeline? A lot of customers find they've got outstanding quotes, outstanding opportunities they haven't followed up. And there may well be hundreds of thousands of dollars stuck at the quoting phase. You've sent out lots of quotes, you've not been effectively following up. Just picking up the phone to actually push along a few of those opportunities can make you an absolute fortune. Compared to, it's a lot easier to do that than to go and close new opportunities, to go out to the market and try and win new business. So taking your existing opportunities and moving them along is very powerful. So these reports allow you to get a snapshot view. With Pipedrive CRM, for example, other CRMs I've used like Fresh Sales, you can receive a weekly email report with some of these key metrics in them. The metrics that I like to track normally relate to deals and activities. The reason why, those are the key, for me, the key measures. What are we actually doing? What activities are we carrying out? And those activities are more likely to lead to an increase in sales. And then for your deals, like what have we got currently in our pipeline? What's the situation at the moment? What do we need to push forward? And then revenue forecasting as well. What are we going to look like in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? And a good CRM will allow you to generate probabilities around deals, around at each different stage in the pipeline. We can say a new qualified lead from experience, we close 1 in 5 of them. So it's a 20% chance of turning into business. By the time we've sent out a proposal, let's say it's a 50-50 chance, 50%. Once we've actually gone through to negotiate the proposal, it's 70% chance. So you can actually wait. So if you, for example, if the total value of all your deals at a certain stage is $100,000 and the probability of closing is 30%, the forecasted value there is $30,000. So the CRM will allow you to forecast based upon probability, which is very, very powerful from a visibility point of view. I'm sure David's been giving you lots of coaching on cash flow, on the importance of having a forward look into your cash flow for the next 90 days or 6 months. But having a forecast of your sales through the CRM and then integrating that with your cash flow forecast is extremely powerful. So here are my top 3 strategies. So number 1 strategy is to adopt a CRM. It's important to have a single source of truth in the business, a single place. And there's a bit of confusion often as to, I'm using MailChimp or I'm using ActiveCampaign or I'm using some other marketing automation tool. Why do I need a CRM? Well, in the case of ActiveCampaign, they do have a CRM component within the tool. But I believe Pipedrive personally is more powerful as a dedicated CRM than the ActiveCampaign CRM. But for example, MailChimp or a dedicated marketing automation email marketing solution doesn't have the power of a full CRM, doesn't have the flexibility and capability. It's very good at what it does. So the gold standard, it's not probably the best word to use right now, but to have your marketing automation solution integrated with your CRM. So right from the very, very top of your funnel, when you first get opportunities into your business, be they via your website or wherever else they come through, a landing page, for example, those leads will flow through into your CRM. And then within your CRM, you can then see where they've come from. You can report on the different sources. You've got a fully integrated marketing and sales solution. But the CRM is really the most important component of all. Then the second strategy is automating your follow-ups. Don't rely upon yourself to go through a list and just remember. You actually need a reminder. You need a weekly reminder of the things you have to do or a daily reminder. And one of the problems with reminders is that you'll receive yet another email and you just ignore them. So it is important to think about the way that you are best reminded by, if it's a Slack message or if it's an SMS or if it's an email, think about yourself and your actual habit. What is it that draws your attention? What is it that's actually going to allow you to pay attention? First, for myself, I use a fantastic tool called Notion, which I've got a dashboard that I use. And basically every day I just check my dashboard. It has my daily 5 tasks and my my weekly 5 and my daily 3 tasks. And then it has a list, and I put on there a list of follow-ups. So what follow-ups do I have to do this week? So think about the way you actually work and then make sure your follow-up automation synchronizes with the way you work. And as I mentioned, integrate your sales and marketing together. What we want really is not to have a separate marketing and a separate sales set of systems. The whole objective here is to take someone who's got interest in your business and actually onboard them and turn them into a customer that's very happy and will refer new business to you and just generally will have a positive experience with your business. A product that I do recommend looking into is something called Practice Ignition. So I use for the sales part, a Pipedrive advocate. I'm very happy with Pipedrive. But when you get to a point of actually onboarding a customer and taking payment and just making sure that's all seamless, Practice Ignition is also a very nice tool to use just for the terms and conditions, signing up a new customer, making sure that whole process is pretty seamless. And Practice Ignition Enterprise integrates with Pipedrive. And a bonus strategy is to implement automated appointment scheduling. So we've all been there. You want to book an appointment with someone, or you want to book a coffee meeting, and you end up in an endless backwards and forwards of emails, or you've got halfway through, you're almost there, and then the person's disappeared, and you have to follow up the following day. So sometimes booking an appointment, especially when you've got a team with multiple calendars, can actually be quite a painful process. So implementing automated appointment scheduling, especially one that's actually integrated with your CRM, is very powerful. I use a tool called OnceHub. It used to be called Schedule Once. So that's a really very easy tool to use. And just make sure that when you fill in your details, you choose your time, and then the booking is just very simple and easy and integrated.
What about Calendly? Sorry to ask during the talk.
It's a very powerful tool as well. I personally prefer OnceHub. Just the usability overall is just that little bit better, and overall functionality is a little bit more powerful. And there are certain things, for example, in OnceHub that I found really useful. So if you've got a team with multiple calendars, you've got a meeting room calendar, for example, when a meeting room is available, you can actually have those availabilities synchronized with the front end, so that someone can actually book you when all of those calendars synchronize effectively. So you don't end up with someone booking, but it doesn't work with one of your team's calendar, for example. So just making sure that the overall scheduling internally within your business, but also from the customer's point of view, works very well. Because otherwise you've got, Calendly is pretty powerful, and it's free. There's a free version, etc. But I personally found OnceHub to be.
Quick question there, Peter. OnceHub, did you say? I'm not sure the spelling of that app.
Yeah, this is it here. OnceHub down the bottom here, oncehub.com. These are the tools I recommend. This is my recommended stack, really. I haven't included Practice Ignition on here, but from a marketing automation point of view, I really love ConvertKit. It's just really straightforward, simple, implemented. And you can produce powerful, landing pages, forms that integrate with your website, nice very powerful marketing automation sequences. I just worked with a customer recently in the food retail business, actually within the last couple of weeks, and they have a whole number of products different food products. And customers, when they arrive on the landing page, they can actually select their preferences as to which products they like. And within ConvertKit, we can then choose to market to them according to the actual product that they are interested in. So for example, if they're interested in rabbit, for example, they receive an email sequence related to rabbit and then that preference can go through to the CRM. So we actually take that preference from the landing page and then into the CRM. So we can report on, here are all the customers that have shown us a preference for rabbit, and here's all their interactions with us. So we can see that this top 20% are the most keen on that product. Okay, so this is the main part of the presentation. There are some other parts, but any questions?
Can I take this opportunity just to tell everybody that I've been working with Peter for about 12 months now, and he's completely converted us from using spreadsheets and sticky notes to a CRM, which is automatically producing this sort of stuff on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Absolutely phenomenal. I highly recommend working with Peter to help you with your CRM.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. So this is me. If you're interested in having a chat just to see how I could potentially help you or point you in the right direction, that is actually, or if you just want to test drive the OnceHub integration, the bit.ly link at the bottom there, bit.ly process coffee, that's actually your OnceHub integration. So you go onto there and you can actually then book. And I'll tell you what that actually does. The integration, you fill in your details. You then receive a calendar invitation yourself. I receive a notification that you've booked. And in my CRM, there's a new activity created, and you're also created as a contact in the CRM. So I walk the talk. Any other questions?
We've still got a couple of minutes left, Peter. I just wanted to talk about the importance too of having those sales KPIs, because I know that in the past, you might find that you've got a bottleneck in your process, and having that information really helps move you forward in terms of coming up with strategies or activities to overcome those bottlenecks.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, Peter, does a good CRM, and excuse my ignorance, does that allow you to like email marketing sort of stuff?
So here's the distinction. Look, you can, for example, with Pipedrive, you can actually send out the equivalent of email marketing. So you can send out sequences from the CRM. You can set up, for example, every month or every week, you can send out a set of emails, and you can certainly build not primitive, but you can build basic automations, but not to the same extent as you could with ActiveCampaign or ConvertKit, for example. So I always prefer to use a tool for its best capability. A CRM, really, the power of the CRM is in having all of your information about your opportunities, your leads. So the distinction between leads and prospects should hopefully be clear, but leads are new opportunities that came into your business, but they're not necessarily going to convert. Prospects are those who are qualified, and contacts are customers. The CRM is great at managing those, allowing you to record a lot of useful information, segmentation information, the types of customer, the category, the industry, all that sort of information. It's also great for sending out reminders or reminding someone that a proposal's gone out, following up on a regular basis with actual customers. But the marketing automation solution is really where the rubber hits the road from a marketing point of view, because you can create those really complex automations. You can directly personalize your interactions with new leads, prospects, and existing customers. So my answer is use a marketing automation solution and a CRM, because they're both great at what they do. It's a good investment to take out a subscription, a basic subscription in ConvertKit, for example, and one in Pipedrive. What I will do, I'll add in the chat a little link for if people would like a free trial of Pipedrive, and you can test drive it. And we've got 15 seconds. That's not enough time for a question, but it's been a pleasure. And any questions after this, just put them in the chat and I'll see if I could provide an answer.